All right, folks, what do you not want to see on your sonar screen? Look at this, I'm gonna show you. So one of the things I'll do is ride and scan when I can't find fish. And I'm kind of showing you what sonar screen looks like here. You'll hear me say some days you think your transducer is broken. Well, today's one of those days. Literally the lower, I'd say fourth of this lake that I have ridden around in looks exactly like this. Now I'm back up into a creek arm at this point, and it's relatively shallow. Water's not super warm. I think my transducer may be reading about 2 degrees warm, so it's probably around 54. But there's nothing in here. I mean, occasionally you'll see a fish on here, but when you're seeing this, outside of maybe a few fish that are laid down in the mud, there's not a lot of life in there. Now, we're not only not seeing catfish, there's no stripers, there's no spotted bass, no perch, no crappie, nothing. This probably goes on back here about another 500-600 yards. I don't think it's going to turn around and a miracle is going to happen anytime soon. So I'm going to circle over and go a little closer to the bank. We'll ride through some little bit shallower stuff. You'll be able to look out, you know, there's a fish. But as far as numbers of fish, schools, bait, there's nothing in here. And this is not the only place that's been like this. I have fished a few places blind just to see if there's maybe just some fish laid in the mud. And it has been tough. So you can see on a structure scan, you're looking out through there, no bait balls out through there anywhere. It's not like they're pushed up into shallower, warmer water where light is penetrating really good. I mean, you can see out on the side scan, there's no bait out through there. We'll even slow down around some of these docks so you can get a good look underneath them. There is nothing hiding in here anywhere. This is interesting, and it will happen on pretty much any body of water anywhere. But you can see it's just devoid of a few small fish in there, you can see, but nothing super fishable. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this roll for a second. We're gonna roll down into some deeper water. You can see we're up on right here, kind of shallow. It's gonna roll back down deeper here. We're gonna try to get into some of that deeper stuff just to show you what we're seeing. And it is not good. This is, again, this is one creek arm, but I've seen this in a lot of places today. I've been in some creek arms that were 50 to 60 feet deep. Just as bad. I found one place at a hot water discharge that had a pretty good school of bait around it, but not a lot. It's a widespread, interesting phenomenon. Now, how much of it is fish have moved up the river? Could be. If I wanted to make a 7, 8, 10 mile run, might be some fish further up. Why are they there? Who knows? You can't always figure that out. What's going to happen here, we're going to turn off of this little gently sloping point, and I'm going to head over to this deep water. I already know what the answer is because I've already rode through it, but it's kind of what made me pull the camera out and show y'all just how bad it can be. I mean, you'll think your transducer's broke, but this is a totally different type sonar than what comes out of this one, and there's nothing on either one of them. Pretty bad. Again, it's going to slope down gently, so we're covering a good variety of depth here. Just looking there. Nothing. Looks like it's going to roll down to 40 some feet of water up here. Now, what'll happen a lot of times on this lake especially, you'll go from this super shallow stuff and you won't see nothing, and you'll hit 40, 50 feet and boom, everything shows up. We're going to see if that happens here. Pretty sure it's not going to. Like I said, I've rode through this really slow. And again, there's another image off a different type of sounding that's going down. And man, it just is not any luck. You see, it's going to get deeper and deeper up here. There's no switch flipping. We're not hitting the magic depth. And like I said, it's interesting. You will have places like this. Now, you've heard me say before, if you're going to make a move, move big. Well, in this situation, if you're going to get away from this, I think you literally need to make a massive run. They're fishing the lake. I mean, that goes without saying. There's hybrids, there's stripers, crappie, a lot of catfish, but they're not active and moving here. It's a little bit of small stuff there on the bottom. Man, you're just not seeing any arches. I mean, we're down into 43 feet of water now. It's going to get deeper up here. We got a little point over here. It's got a little island you can see kind of coming out here. It's going to round up just a little bit. We're going to see if we can just see a fish. Some of this dark blue up here is going to hit close to 50 feet. But I mean, man, look how long this has been rolling. I've let this camera roll continuously. And we've trolled down through here. Like I say, we're doing about 6.5 miles an hour. And nothing is showing up. We've covered a lot of water while this camera's been rolling. And have an arm this big, this devoid of fish, it's kind of crazy. Starting to roll down 47 feet, 48, 50, 51. Nothing showing up. I mean, could it be fish that are super duper deep? Maybe. There's somebody's brush pile right there. But I mean, man, it is just not showing up. Like I said, I've stayed in some main channel stuff, and there was a few fish out there, but I don't know where the bait schools are. I mean, this lake is not loaded with bait, but man, usually you can find a few. Like I said, the hot water discharge had one massive school of bait, and that was it. I talked to some guys that were in there casting and forward-facing sonar, and they weren't catching fish. So I don't know. Again, stuff's either right up on the bank, which we've scanned and looked at, or it's made a run to a totally different part of the lake. Looking again. If you don't believe the boat's moving, there you go. We are moving. You can see this, see the sonar on there. Now, up there's a fish. We've got a fish that showed up. There it is, a fish. So yes, the sonar's working. We've proven that fact. But right off the end of that point. Now, is that a fishable? You know, I mean, no. If I see that one fish right there, I mean, that's not really worth parking on. You got to find more than that. I mean, that's nice. If we had about 20 of those, it'd be different. Here he is over here showing up nice and clear. Likely a catfish. But look, we're into the deeper part here, approaching 60 feet. And it's just tough. Now, what do you do in a situation like this? Well, like I said earlier, you got to move big. You've got to literally go to a long way, a long run. Something is going on for whatever reason. Now we're coming into spring. You know, bait's starting to move, starting to make some of their migrations, generally upstream. The odd thing is, usually you'll catch them in creeks too. I mean, they don't always go up the river. A lot of them are pulling in these major creek arms, and I'm seeing it. I do have a cormorant up here in front of me. There's hope there could be a ball of bait up here, but it's one lone bird. Actually, that's a loon sitting up here. One lone bird. The birds that were here, I saw some out on the main channel earlier, they have up and gone. I'm sitting here looking at the screen as I'm riding through here, and it's Still not seeing anything. It's still bad, bad, bad. We're coming off a little bit of a extended little point coming out here. Rolling off the end of it, it's going to go back deep here. We're getting out toward the mouth of this creek arm now. You're going to see we're going to roll into deep water. And still, we're not seeing much at all. There's some small fish right there on top of that little high place there, but nothing fishable for what we're looking for. Those could be bluegill that are still wintering in some of the deeper water. Could be small perch, could be small catfish. You just really don't know. But look here, you know, if you were wondering, are they super deep? We're over 60 feet now. It's interesting, we're not even seeing any hybrids in here. This lake is known for its hybrid bass depths you'll see them in. So it's an interesting sign. We have probably trolled at least a half a mile. And I mean, you've seen it. It stayed looking like that. Seen that one decent fish. There's a small one there. He shows up over here on the down scan. But 65, 62, 60 feet, water in the 60s, still no fish. If you're gonna catch fish when the sonar looks like this, you gotta make a run and make a move. That's all there is to it. When you ride that far and look at that much water, and the thing is, lake's stable. It's nothing really weird or crazy here. We covered a variety of depths. You gotta make a move, big move, try to find something that's working.